Welcome to Next Level You podcast. I'm Stephanie Dingbaum, your host, your biggest cheerleader, and your go-to girlfriend for real, raw, and uplifting conversations about leveling up in life. As a mental health therapist with over a decade of experience and a business coach helping women elevate their lives and businesses, I'm here to guide you through the mindset shifts, holistic practices, and manifestation tools you need to step into your most authentic, next level self. Whether you're here to ignite your personal growth, elevate your professional game, or simply rediscover you, this podcast is your invitation to dream bigger, go after your goals, and unapologetically claim the life you deserve. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. It's time to up-level, manifest, and glow. Welcome back to Next Level You podcast. This is episode 3 of the mini series that we are doing over the month of October. I have my VA here, Kristi Norman. We have been talking all about cycle syncing as a business owner. And if you haven't listened to episodes 1 and 2, I really encourage you to go back and listen to that, unless you're like listening because this is the current phase you're in, which I totally get that. But I really encourage you to listen to all of these episodes and just apply what feels aligned for you in the current phase that you're in. Today's episode, or this week's episode, we are talking all about the ovulatory phase. And the theme of this phase is shining, like really stepping out as that magnetic version of yourself, as that next level version of yourself, and just giving yourself permission to show up, to be seen, to be heard type of thing. So, Kristi, I'm going to let you take it away and share more about that.
Yeah, thanks, Steph. Glad to be back. So the ovulation phase is the star of the show. Like if we're talking from a biological perspective, this is what our body's made to do in order to procreate and continue to carry on the species. So we are tuning into the energy of that. What are the energetics? What's the mental, emotional, and physical sort of essence of this phase? And so typically in ovulation phase, our energy is high and it is outward. This is the most external of all of the phases of our cycle. So it's like the extrovert realm right now. And ovulation, like I said, is the star of the show. So this is the still point that begins this phase. So if you remember, just to recap quickly, like from the menstrual phase, we have a still point in the menstrual phase, and that is day 1 of bleeding. And then we have a point of change that starts the follicular phase, and that is arousal, stepping out of the cave. And then there's another still point in the cycle continuum, and that is the moment that we ovulate. And that is when we move into this phase. You know, a lot of us kind of maybe sense or know if we've ovulated. It really depends on what you're doing. If you're tracking and you're using like ovulation predictor kits, you're going to know that it's close, but you might not know for sure if you've ovulated. You know, there's all kinds of ways that we track that. Temperatures, like you'll know for sure if you're tracking your temperatures, if you've ovulated or not. Some of us have Mittelschmerz pain, which is actually like the pain or twinges that you feel that indicate you're getting close to ovulating. And so just in whatever way you sense, just know that the moment of ovulation puts you into this phase, the shine phase.
Yeah, that's so telling because at the time of recording this, we're at the end of July and I'm just like, I'm transitioning out of the follicular phase and getting into the ovulatory phase, and the pains, like the side pain, they have been there the last couple of days. So I'm like, oh, she's coming. We're getting there.
You're getting close. You're getting close. Yeah. And this is a really interesting phase. Obviously, all of them are, but the way that you show up in ovulation phase, we're going to talk about like the essence of the phase. But if you are having trouble with your ovulation, if you have, you know, some challenging symptoms at this time of the month, I know like migraines can be associated with this phase. A lot of bloating can be associated with this phase. Some bloating is actually normal during ovulation. But if you also like, if it's an energetic, if it's a challenging time, like you really want to conceive and it hasn't been happening, or you really want a baby and you're not actually in a partnership right now, this phase can be challenging.
Yeah.
due to those sort of personal life kinds of things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
we're going to
appreciate
talk.
you saying that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
really, it's important to note because I think
It
a
is.
lot of people who are sharing this wisdom, they
Yep.
just talk about how bright and shining this phase is
Right.
and ignore the reality that is life for a lot of women, that this
Yeah.
phase isn't so fun
Right.
for some reason.
Right. And it's great that you do bring that up because for the 7 years that we were trying, I always had this like pull during this time of the month, during the ovulatory phase, where it's like, I recognize that I definitely was more confident during this phase, especially once I got my hormones regulated and my estrogen and progesterone were finally where they were supposed to be as far as like optimal levels. I noticed that I was like showing up more confidently and putting myself out there more during this phase. But it was also, like you mentioned, it was kind of an emotional pull though, because it's always like the pressure I was putting on myself during this time of the month. It's such a weird pull between like, yeah, I'm going to show up and be seen and put myself out there. But I'm also like, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't stick? It's just such a weird emotional toggle back and forth. So I really feel that for people who are trying.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that. And it's so true. Even those of you listening who are like, well, I'm not trying to conceive and I still feel that, it makes sense, doesn't it? Like, because we may be putting ourselves out there to conceive, but we also are putting ourselves out there to launch a program, to sell something, to magnetize more clients, to bring in more work, whatever that looks like for your particular business. And there can be that sort of play between, I feel confident and courageous. I also feel doubt and self-sabotage, right? And we are playing with those. I think we're playing with those emotions in a heightened way during this phase.
Yeah.
And actually the archetype kind of speaks to that. So the archetype that came through for the ovulation phase is the solar moon goddess. And there's a couple, pieces to that are really juicy. So we have the polarity of the sun and the moon happening in this ovulation phase. So we haven't talked about this a ton, but like back in our first episode together, we talked about how the menstrual phases line up with the moon phases.
Yeah.
So just really quickly, like the ovulation phase is like full moon.
Okay.
Well, the full moon, the moon phase, the lunar phase is a feminine phase, but the full moon is the most masculine of each of the moon phases. Ovulation is the most masculine of our phase, our cycle phase.
Wow. Okay.
So naming this the solar moon goddess kinds of speaks to that. Like we are the most masculine in our cycle during this ovulation phase. So what comes with those polarities is solar yang energy is very outward, assertive, productivity focused, get shit done focused. And then the moon, the yin, is still receptive, intuitive, leaning in, passive, and we are playing with both of those right now.
Okay.
So just speaking back to that, like courage and confidence, but also like some of this like doubt as well, some of these low self-esteem kinds of feelings.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. When we're stepping more into our power, into our charisma in this phase, some things are going to be revealed as we do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's fascinating. I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. So what would be some really aligned business tasks during this phase in particular?
Yes. So this phase is going to be similar to the follicular phase in that these are our yes times. This is our time to take action. So continuing to take action, whatever that way that means to you. So service-based business owners, this is a wonderful phase for seeing lots of clients, for saying yes to lots of clients on your schedule. This is a great phase for launching. This is a wonderful phase for pitching. So like if you are going to pitch to be on podcasts or you're going to sell something in your email newsletter, these are amazing times because typically we feel a bit more confident during this time. Also a wonderful time to show your face. So show your face in stories on social media, do Facebook or Instagram lives, again, like hosting the, master classes or whatever kind of maybe marketing things that you're doing. Typically we have, again, more energy. We're more magnetizing at this time. And we have our words. It's like easier to describe what we want to. We're more clear in our communication. So all of those things are really great to do or to continue in this ovulation phase.
Okay, awesome. And
Yeah,
I just think a good plug to like saying yes to all the things is just, again, I said this in the last episode, but just remember doing all of that within balance, within reason, like still knowing your limits. We're hopefully trying to avoid burnout, right? And so just knowing your limits and knowing what that balance looks for you. But yeah, giving yourself permission to be seen, to say yes to things that maybe you weren't feeling up to back in the menstrual phase. This is the time to go in on those things.
Yeah. And to piggyback off of that stuff, we've talked about this in the last couple episodes too. We are working not just one isolated phase at a time. There's always an interweaving in that continuum. And so we are saying yes to things now. And we probably said yes to those things a couple weeks ago because we knew this was a good phase to do those things. But if we have something coming up like a week or two from now, we're going to check the calendar, right? Because we have those days scheduled out where we're saying we're doing less. This is the menstrual phase. We're doing yes. We're still in a yes phase. So we still want to say yes, but we've got to do it in a balanced, boundaried way.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. I love that. Hey there, listeners. Are you ready to elevate your mindset and manifest your goals? If you're a female entrepreneur or someone who's been dreaming of starting your own business, I have something so exciting to share with you. I'm Stephanie Dingbaum, and I've just launched my 12-week coaching program, the Up-Level Method. It is designed to help you gain clarity, build confidence, and create the soul-aligned business and life that you've been dreaming of. So here's what you'll all get in the program. Weekly one-on-one coaching calls tailored specifically to meet your goals, Voxer access for real-time support and accountability throughout the week from me, customized tools like journal prompts, meditations, and follow-up emails to keep you aligned and on track throughout the week, plus guidance to overcome imposter syndrome, rewrite limiting beliefs, and shift into an abundance mindset. The Up-Level Method isn't just about checking off goals. It's about helping you step into your power as a CEO, make decisions that light you up, and build a business that feels truly authentic to who you are. And the best part? The current pricing is literally the lowest that it will ever be. If you're even slightly considering it, lock it in now because this investment in your future self will pay off tenfold, I promise you. Payment plans are available, so don't let finances hold you back from stepping into your best self. This is your chance to stop second guessing and start showing up for your business and life with purpose and intention. If this feels aligned, DM or email me today to set up a free clarity call. Let's see if the Up-Level Method is the right fit for you. All the details are in the show notes. This is your time. Let's make 2025 the year you up-level everything.
Yeah. A couple other things I would say just in terms of the business, like I mentioned. So if you haven't been working with your menstrual cycle, but you work with the moon phases, the full moon, often if you go to a full moon circle or you're reading something about the full moon and how to work with it, typically what we're doing here is we're looking at the things that we can see now that we haven't been able to see before. So we ask ourselves, what's being illuminated in my business right now?
Okay.
And this is, again, like if you think about the new moon outside, it's dark and there's no moon to light your way. But in a full moon phase, we have the moon and we have that brightness and how it casts shadows and how we can kind of see, we can walk a path even without a flashlight, because there is that moon, that enough light being shown. So that's where this illumination comes through in the ovulation phase. So what am I seeing that I couldn't see before about the action, about the goal, about the steps I've been taking? This can be a time of revision.
Okay.
For those things that you've been working on.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess where my mind goes to specifically for me for this phase is I've really been toggling back and forth between what I want my next certification to be, because I know at some point I'm going to add sound healing to the business. I know at some point I want to get certified in hypnotherapy for the private practice. And so to me, correct me if I'm wrong, like this would be the ideal phase to hit, like register on during this cycle. Like I'm ready. I'm going in. I want to start type of thing. Even if it is like an ongoing project or course that you're doing, like this would be the time to jump in feet first and just go after it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if it's something that came up to you in your menstrual phase or even like a menstrual phase in the past.
Yep.
In that visioning, it really intuitive, wise woman time. Yes, this would be the time to just review that. Am I still feeling the same way? Yeah. If I am, then I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna say yes.
That makes sense. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. And so I'm assuming like similar to the follicular phase, like doing things like building those connections, continuing to foster those partnerships, that all would naturally flow into this phase too, I'm assuming. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yep. And again, like doing the outward things that are even a little bit uncomfortable, this is a great time to say yes to those. So it really is about showing up and shining.
Love that. Okay. Yeah. That's helpful. Yeah, what would be an aligned affirmation and journal prompt for this phase that you would recommend?
Yeah, I think the affirmation that came through, I think really speaks to the aspect of shine in this, and also like feeling into the confidence and the courage, even if you're not 100% on board with those feelings. And so that affirmation is, I have gifts to share beyond compare.
Love that.
Yeah.
But you're hitting on the comparison thing, because we are all guilty of that. And
yes, we are.
It can just be so easy to go down that rabbit hole of like, what do I have that she's not already doing?
It's so true. And that can really stop us in our tracks. Like, oh, somebody else is already doing this work. Somebody else is already talking about this. They're not talking about it in the same way that you are. They don't have the same frequency as you do.
Exactly. Yeah. It can be so easy to forget. Even if we're all doing the same thing, we each put our own personal spin on it that the other person does not. And it's so easy to overlook that or think like, well, my spin is not nearly as awesome as hers. Like,
right.
Yeah. Get out of your head. Yeah. That's a great affirmation in general. Yeah.
I mean, everything. And we'll find all of those reasons, right? Yeah. To compare ourselves. Like, oh, her logo is better than mine. Her brand colors are better than mine. You know, her funnel is more organized. Like, yes. Absolutely. And we are only seeing a tiny piece of that person.
Exactly. Okay. And a journal prompt that would match?
Yeah. So the journal prompt. So as I'm in high activity, I also take time to tune into what is being illuminated. Is there a goal revision that needs to happen, or a new idea that's pulling focus?
Love it. Okay. Yeah. That feels, a lot is coming up for me as I'm like thinking through this. This is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So you guys, if you have any more questions about the ovulatory phase, or you want to dive deeper into this, feel free to DM Kristi, ask her questions, set up a period power hour, set up a coaching call with her. I mean, we're doing deep dives, but I still feel like there is so much more that could be covered on this, that especially if you want it to be personalized to you and your own cycle and your own business, whatever that looks like for you, then that would be a really powerful hour to take advantage of her time and really look at it as an investment in you continuing to build this soul-aligned business for yourself. So feel free to reach out to her. And I really appreciate it if you share these episodes in your story. Feel free to tag us. I appreciate all the support, you guys. And we will see you guys next week, where we are going to dive into the final episode of the mini-series, which is the luteal phase. So have a great rest of your week, guys.
Real quick before you go, I just want to thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. And congratulations on showing up for you. Every step you take to invest in yourself brings you that much closer to your next level self. And I'm so proud of you. If you loved this episode, share it with someone who could use a little inspiration, or take a screenshot and tag me on socials so we can keep spreading the next level you energy. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Let's freaking go.